everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. What a beautiful day today here in Sydney. It is a nice 31-degree day, I heard. Somebody was talking about the fact that it was going to be nice and warm. I felt it as I was going for my walk this morning. Good to see you all. Hope everybody is doing well. So I just finished my vibe for this morning, which is some exercise and some personal development, some other really exciting things. But now it is time for some reading, and we're going to get into it because I know that everybody has things to do, a life to lead, goals to achieve. So here we go. Rich Dad Poor Dad is the one that we were going to read. And Jessica asks whether I am a new host. No, I've been doing this for a while. I'm actually already on I think we're on chapter 55 of the book that we are going to be reading. Not Rich Dad Poor Dad in Chinese, because I know that most of you don't speak Chinese. We're going to be reading The Art of Thinking Clearly, which is a really great book and very shiny and difficult to actually hold up so that you can see the title. And hello, everybody that's joining on Big O Live. So good to see you all. And we'll get into some reading so that everybody can head out and start doing everything else that you need to do. And of course, if you want to join and watch previous chapters that I've read and my commentary on those, you can go to YouTube and go to the Passive Cashflow Club, and you'll be able to find us there. Or you can also reach out to me directly on Instagram, business_team_ and the number 6. And that's where you can send me a direct message, leave your thoughts, say hello, say anything you like, really. Okay, we are up to chapter 55. And this one is called Why There Is No Such Thing as an Average War, the Problem with Averages. That should be an interesting chapter. Let's get into it. Suppose you're in a bus with 49 other people. At the next stop, the heaviest person in America gets on. Question: by how much has the average weight of the passengers increased? 4%? 5%? Something like that. Suppose the bus stops again, and we're just going to let Mladen into the Zoom, who's just joined. Suppose the bus stops again, and on gets Bill Gates. And we're just going to pin myself there. There we go. And on gets Bill Gates. This time, we're not concerned about weight. Question: by how much has the average wealth risen? 4%? 5%? Far from it. Let's calculate the second example quickly. Suppose each of 50 random selected individuals has assets of 54,000. This is the statistical middle value, the median. Then Bill Gates is added to the mix. With his fortune of around 59 billion, it's quite a bit more right now. The average wealth has just shot up to 1.15 billion, an increase of more than 2 million%. A single outlier has radically altered the picture, rendering the term average completely meaningless. It's actually interesting, this question, because if you ever have a look and compare a million to a billion, for example, you'd need to drive for about 8 minutes to drive past $1 million that are stacked up next to each other like this. But it would take you 11 hours to drive past $1 billion stacked up, standing up upright, squished together like it's a tower lying on its side. So that's the difference between a million and a billion. So now imagine 59 billion. So that would take you 59 times 11 hours to drive past it was lying along the side of a highway. Whereas a million, it's just 8 minutes. That is the difference. Unbelievable. So it's really good and important to understand numbers and how numbers relate to each other and how disproportionate they are sometimes. Don't cross a river if it is, on average, 4 feet deep, warns Nassim Taleb, from whom I have the above examples. The river can be very shallow, mere inches for long stretches, but it might transform into a raging torrent that is 20 feet deep in the middle, in which case you could easily drown. Dealing in averages is a risky undertaking because they often mask the underlying distribution, the way the values stack up. Another example, the average amount of UV rays you are exposed to on a June day is not harmful to your health. But if you were to spend the entire summer in a darkened office, then fly to Barbados and lie in the sun without sunscreen for a week solid, you would have a problem, even though on average, over the summer, you were not getting more UV light than someone who was outside regularly. It is Yes, concentrated in this case. All this is quite straightforward, and maybe you're aware of it already. For example, you drink 1 glass of red wine at dinner every evening. That's not a health issue. Many doctors recommend it. But if you drink no alcohol the entire year and on December 31st you gulp 356 glasses, which is equivalent to 60 bottles, you will have a problem. Although the average over the year is exactly the same. Here's the update. In a complex world, distribution is becoming more and more irregular. In other words, we will observe the Bill Gates phenomenon in ever more domains. How many visits does an average website get? The answer is there are no average websites. A handful of sites, such as the New York Times, Facebook, or Google, garner the majority of visits. The countless other pages draw comparatively few. So what we are seeing here is the 80-20 principle, the Pareto Law of distribution, where 80% get 20% of the attention and 20% get 80% of the attention, and vice versa, and in many different kinds of ways. Let me see. In such cases, the mathematicians speak of the so-called power law. Take cities. There is one city on this planet with a population of more than 30 million, Tokyo. There are 11 cities with a population of between 20 and 30 million. There are 15 cities with a population of between 10 and 20 million. There are 48 with 5 and 10 million inhabitants, and thousands between 1 and 5 million. That's a power law. A few extremes dominate the distribution, and the concept of average is rendered worthless. What is the average size of a company? What's the average population of a city? What is an average war in terms of depth or duration? What is the average daily fluctuations on the Dow Jones? What is the average cost overrun of construction projects? Let's not get started on that one. How many copies does an average book sell? What's the average amount of damage a hurricane wreaks? What is a banker's average bonus? Well, depending on which bank you work for, I suppose. What is the average success of a marketing campaign? How many downloads does an average iPhone app get? How much money does an average actor earn? Of course, you can calculate the answers, but it would be a waste of time. These seemingly routine scenarios are subject to the power law, so you need to know when you can calculate an average and when you can't. To use just the final example, a handful of actors take home more than 10 million per year, while thousands and thousands live on the breadline and work waitering jobs and do other odd jobs and hardly ever get into a movie. Would you advise your son or daughter to get into acting since the average wage is pretty decent? Since it goes up based on those 10% that are earning 80% of the money? Hopefully not. Wrong reason. Though I would still encourage my children to do what makes them feel great. So it's not, to me, always about the money. In conclusion, if someone uses the word average, think twice and start to have a look at it very, very carefully. How is the distribution of the weighting? Try to work out the underlying distribution. Nice to have the exact same sentence come after I just said it. If a single anomaly has no influence on the set, the concept is still worthwhile. However, when extreme cases dominate, such as the Bill Gates phenomenon, we should discount the term average. We should all take stock from novelist William Gibson. The future is already here. It's just not very evenly distributed. So yes, be careful with averages. Have a look at what you can see. Yes, if you'd like to count to 1 billion, your entire life would not be sufficient to count. It takes time to say big numbers. That is how that number is big. Absolutely. There's a couple of very interesting calculations around billion and million and showing the difference between the two. One of my favorites is a million seconds and a billion seconds. So I think it's about a million seconds ago, the Beatles were still hot. And a billion seconds ago, there were still dinosaurs and humans didn't exist, or something along those lines. There's a very, very big difference. Okay, so that was an interesting chapter. I would love to come up with, and I might see if I can come up with some ideas around it tomorrow of how it's practically useful, because this chapter doesn't actually have a lot of practical, useful ways of describing it. So I will have a think about that tonight and see if I can think of something, and then maybe add it to tomorrow, which is chapter 56, how bonuses destroy motivation. I like the idea of that one. The motivation crowding, which is something that is interesting for yes, people who want to set up companies and then pay bonuses to their employers. So it was great having you. Thank you for joining today, as always. A very interesting chapter. And yes, as I said at the beginning of the video as well, if you would like to watch replays and watch other chapters from me reading, you can go to the Passive Cashflow Club on YouTube, and you can see different chapters. You can subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you know when new videos are uploaded, because we are also putting up other content as well very soon. And if you want to reach out directly and get in touch with me, you can go to business_team_6. And then I would love to hear from you, get in touch with you, follow you, see what you're up to, and you can see what we are up to. And you can also private message me there, which I would absolutely love. So you are most welcome to do that. So thank you for joining today. Have a great day. I'm looking forward to reading for you again tomorrow. And thank you for supporting. And I'll see you tomorrow morning, Sydney time, 8 o'clock, same time, same place. And have a great day today.